If you are thinking of setting up a business in a Dubai free zone, there are a few things that no one tells you until it's often too late. So if you're thinking about it, you're in the right place. I wanted to make another video about free zones because I just get so many questions about this all the time. And since I'm coming up to 3 years, well, I'm at 2.5 years at the moment, and I'm currently looking at renewing for going into my 4th year with my free zone, which I can't even believe I'm saying. But yeah, I wanted to give you my advice because I have been where you are, so keep watching. Let's talk about what we're going to cover so that there's no surprises further down the line for you. We're going to talk about office space, we're going to talk about renewing, fees and closure fees. So let's start with office space. If you watched my first video I did about free zones, then I do the full story time in that video. I don't want to do the full story time in every single video because I don't think I have to. But what you need to know essentially is that some free zone licenses require you to rent an office space, especially once you start building a team. So this is, I want to say to everyone, this is the number one thing you need to check. If you are a freelancer or a solopreneur, and you're starting your business, they might tell you it's all well and good, you don't need an office space. But if you are then further down the line want to hire your first employee, that's when you might need to then rent an office space. And sometimes they are just so limited. And the reason I'm starting with this one is because this happened to me 4 years ago when I first went freelance and I was setting up my agency. I went with ABSEILING Freezone, _𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐑, and they were just horrendous. They were such a nightmare. I chose them because they were the cheapest I could find, which I've learned from that mistake. It's always, honestly, they were just awful. They would never reply to me. They weren't clear. I should have known from the start because the person I was in touch with was just, I didn't really know. You know what the thing is? I didn't know the questions to ask because I didn't know anyone that had done it and anyone that had been in my position. So I was kind of just going in blind. And yeah, I never thought to ask in 6 months when my business is doing well and I need to hire my first employee. I never thought to ask, do I need an office space? Because why would you? Anyway, so then the problem that I had was the offices were it was literally in the middle of the desert. I'm not even joking. It was in the middle of the desert. I would never use it. It was just such a nightmare. So I ended up closing the entire business with _𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐑, which brings me on to point number 2, is talking about renewal versus closure. Okay, so every free zone is different, right? Every free zone is different, but likely the closure fees are nearly the same as the renewal. And I don't think I mentioned this in any of my other free zone videos, and that's my bad because honestly I haven't I did have to close my _𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐑 business, but I'm still going. I've still got my free zone, so I don't know what the closure fees are. So with that in mind, I reached out to them for you guys so that I could let you know what the closure fees are with SPC, which is the free zone that I have used, and they've told me for me it's around 10,000 dirhams, between 10 and 11,000, because I currently have my visa, and if you have an employee then you have more visas to essentially cancel as well. So I'll put a screenshot of what they told me. They literally replied within like 10 minutes, which I love. I love whenever I have a question, they just reply to me instantly, even when it's just for the purposes of a video. And then what I'll do now is I'll also put a screenshot of my renewal fees, just so that if you're interested. Obviously every free zone has different fees, but I found that my experience with SPC, which is Sharjah Publishing City, has been extremely positive. Now, I did a bit of research online and I saw that they've been getting a lot of negative reviews, which I find really surprising because my experience has been so good, and like I said, they replied to me really quickly. So yeah, you really have to do your own due diligence, I think, and that brings me on to the next point that I wanted to raise, which I think is finding an agent specifically that you really trust and that you really like. Bare minimum, they need to speak your language. I wish I'd told myself that like 4 years ago, because when I was in touch with _𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐑, there was a bit of a language barrier in place and we were kind of muddling through, and it was just so different when I went with SPC because their agents spoke English. Most of them are actually from England, which was just nice, and I just felt so much more comfortable and I could just ask the questions. I really got to know what my business is and who I am, and just could be like, okay, this is the best option for you. You know what I mean? Rather than just being like, this is what we do. Like, I feel like there's such a difference when the agent, it's kind of like when you're viewing an apartment or something, like I feel like the agent really does make a difference. So with that in mind, I have got a link with SPC where you can be connected to my agent, and I really hope this helps you guys. Because of the amount of views and questions that I got from the first video, they actually made me my own link, which is really nice. And yeah, you can be connected with my agent at SPC and they can answer all your questions. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. So yeah, I'll put the link to that in the description, of course. As always, whenever I'm talking about my free zone, so many people ask about it. So the link is always going to be in the description, and you'll be connected with my agent. And also just pop me a DM on Instagram, because if you want to hear from me anymore, or if you've got any questions, don't hesitate, because I know how stressful it can be. I also have a contact that's been really helpful at another free zone that I'm not currently with, but they also seem great. They're offering a Freelancer package, which I think is very interesting, because I know so many people are actually coming here and they just want like a quick way to set up your life in Dubai. They just want like a quick way for one person, solopreneurs, content creators, perfect for YouTubers if there's any other YouTubers watching. So yeah, I'll put the link to that one in the description as well. But yeah, to recap, let's talk about the questions that you absolutely need to ask whatever free zone you're in touch with, whether it's free zones here in Dubai, whether it's right outside of Dubai. No matter what free zone you're in touch with, there's a few questions that I feel like are essential to ask them. Number one, what's the situation with co-working or office space? The good thing is that now a lot of free zones are actually offering co-working instead of an office space, and that's what SPC offers me. So I actually have a co-working address there, even though I don't use it because I work remotely, so I literally have never been. But it's a requirement for you to have an address and a workspace, so they offer co-working, which is way better than like getting like a 4-person office when it's literally just me and I'm not going to use it. Number two, they should tell you this. If they're not telling you this, there's something dodgy going on. But number two is what is the renewal, obviously, because the chances are you're going to want to have this business more than 1 year. Number three is what are the closure fees and the breakdown. Number four, how long does it take for the closure process to happen? SPC answered this question for me also, so I will put the screenshot to their reply. I haven't been through this process with SPC because I'm still with them, but this is their reply to me. And finally, is there any tax or audit obligations that I need to do when I close my business? I was interested to know the answer to this question. I asked it for the purpose of the video, but I do think it's very interesting to know. I'm currently not earning enough to be required to do the tax audit. I'll put the reply again here. So yeah, that's, I think, just something really good to know. I think every situation is so different, which is why I think you just need to be connected with somebody that gets it and can get to know you a bit and understand what you're doing, and you know, just like have a real conversation with you and not be a sales robot. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you're starting your business in Dubai, good luck, and let me know what other content you want me to make. I have so much content on my channel already about Dubai and Dubai life, so definitely go check it out. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.